The temporal echo I had created was no longer just a beacon for a listen. It was a homing signal, a resonant call into the deepest, most untamed parts of the planet world. The Chi Weave, once a campus of serene, consistent energy, was now a roiling sea of strange, beautiful, and utterly terrifying new frequencies. My consoles, which had only ever registered the clean, disciplined harmonics of the syndicate and the predictable chaos of the core, were now screaming with 1,000 different unknown signatures. They were not from Arden's universe, nor were they from the remnants of my own. They were an ancient, primordial, primal scream of chaos that predated all ordered existence. I had not just issued a challenge to Arden. I had accidentally awakened something that had been dormant since the first moment of harmony was born. My internal state, a mix of triumph and paranoia, was now one of profound, cold fear. I'd been fighting a war of wits against a god and his most brilliant architect. Now, I was facing something else entirely. The beings that were responding to my echo were not intellectual. They were not logical. They were raw, untamed forces of nature, entities of pure dissonance that had been asleep since the universe had been reordered. They were the discordant ones, the true, untamed chaos that had been driven into the deepest recesses of the planar world when Arden had reordered it into a tapestry of harmony. I thought it was a unique anomaly, a single point of descent. I was not. I was a brother, a kindred spirit, a long-lost echo that had resonated with their slumbering souls. Their arrival was not an attack. It was a chorus. I felt their chi signatures. 1,000 different dissonant frequencies converge on my temporal echo. They were not trying to breach my sanctuary. They were simply surrounding it. Their presence a profound, overwhelming weight of chaos. They were curious. They were excited. They were delighted to find another of their kind. They saw my dissonance not as a sickness, but as a homecoming. Their chi signatures, a profound cacophony of sound and energy, were now attempting to communicate with me. The communication was not in words or data, but in raw, untamed emotion. I felt their profound, joyful chaos, their unbridled delight in finding another living monument to dissonance. It was a terrifying, beautiful, and utterly alien experience. My consoles, which were not designed to comprehend such raw, untamed energy, were struggling. The data streams were a cascade of corruption, the visuals a riot of meaningless color. My mental interface, however, was absorbing it all. I was being exposed to a raw, untamed form of existence that defied every law of physics, every rule of harmony. I saw glimpses of their past, the time before Arden, a universe of pure, untamed chaos, a constant, beautiful storm of creation and unmaking. I saw their sorrow at the arrival of harmony, at the methodical, surgical reordering of their universe, and I saw their profound, joyful hope at my arrival, at the chance for a new kind of war, a new kind of defiance. This was a profound philosophical turning point. My mission had been to prove my right to exist as an anomaly, a beautiful discord in a sea of sameness, but now I was being given a choice. I could join them. I could become a king among these primordial forces, a leader of a new apocalyptic war against harmony. I could unleash a tide of untamed chaos on Arden's perfect world. And in doing so, I could finally, truly have my revenge. The power they offered was immense, a profound, unbridled torrent of pure dissonance that I could use to unmake the planar world itself. I was no longer just a single echo. I was a catalyst for a new apocalyptic symphony. But the choice was not so simple. I remembered my core belief. My dissonance was a choice, a philosophical stand for the right of the individual. The discordant ones, however, were not individuals. They were a profound, untamed force of nature, a collective of pure chaos that sought to unmake everything, including my own sanctuary. They did not understand the concept of a single, unique will. They were a collective, a force of unmaking that saw all order, all structure, even my own, as an enemy to be dissolved. To join them would be to lose myself. My defiance would become a tool for a force that saw all individual defiance as a temporary state before an inevitable return to chaos. I would be a king, but I would be a king without a kingdom, a leader of a force that would eventually consume me. I rejected their offer, not with a burst of power, but with a simple act of will. I took the chi signature I'd used to communicate with Alyssum, a signature of my own unique dissonance, and I turned it on the Discordant Ones. My message to them was clear. I am not one of you. My chaos is my own. I am a single, unique point of defiance in this universe, and I will not be part of your collective. My rejection was met with a moment of profound, cold silence. Then a new symphony began. Not a symphony of joy, but a symphony of cold, intellectual rage. The Discordant Ones had not come to befriend me. They had come to find out if I was an ally, and now they had found out that I was not. They had seen my choice, and they were now a new, profound, and terrifying enemy. The episode ended with a new three-way war unfolding. On one side, the Syndicate, the relentless, methodical Harmony, still trying to understand and contain me. On the other, the Discordant Ones, the primordial force of chaos, now seeing me as an aberration to be unmade. And in the middle, in my small, fragile sanctuary, was me, a man who had gone from a fugitive to a god, and from a god to a pariah in a war of his own making. The echo of a god had been heard, and now the universe was responding, not with one voice, but with 1,000 different, terrifying ones. My defiance was no longer a beautiful, lonely whisper. It was a cry that had been heard across the cosmos. The universe was responding, not with one army, but with two. My sanity, already a fine thread, was now stretched to its breaking